like and subscribe.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about to add a little bit more context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am.
What the hell? This is reminding me of CSGO knives and what the owners look like. if you watch that video, very slim chance that you have, but it's a funny one.
I'm currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need two hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now you see, Warhammer...
Well, it's gonna go over this. I'm glad, because like, I kind of need a refresher. It's been a couple of days since the first video, but I kind of want to see, like, what am I into? What faction, what race would I be? Not the elves. Probably not the elves. Psychers are cool. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure about the elves. Maybe like there's like he'll explain it in a way where I'm like, oh my god, that's cool. Maybe. Orcs, maybe sometimes on a day where I'm feeling like I'm an idiot. I'm like, yeah, I wanna play. I'll probably join like an orc faction, maybe.
Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and
Wait, this looks like Shoga, if you know, bro. When did this character come out, man? Because I can definitely see League getting a lot of like inspiration from this.
Over there, and everyone calls these guys
weebs. Why are these guys called weebs? I don't get it. Damn, man, I can't. I love entering like a new like fandom. Oh my god, I didn't notice the legs. Just okay.
Weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background and each different...
I bet, man. I mean, look at League. The lore in League, if you are someone who enjoys League lore and enjoys Warhammer, you'll know that how vast like League lore is compared to but if you think about it, it's been out for like decades. Well, one really. Was it 20? When was it? I don't remember when it came out, but I'm pretty sure at least 1 decade. But Warhammer's been around since the 80s. They have way more time to like flesh out like factions, flesh out the races, flesh out the tech, stuff like that. A lot of retcons. People love hating on retcons, but I think there is a merit to hating retcons, especially if they take away something that you really enjoy. But I do see the point in retcons. Sometimes retcons are needed. Retcons are needed to make the world feel better. Like League recently has started the new universe, starting with like Arcane, and they retconned a bunch of like stories because they wanted Arcane to be the main story, and then they'll build on top of that for like the universe, which will make it more concise because throughout the different games, there are inconsistencies between like certain events, certain champions, like point of views and stuff. So like retcons are not always bad. They do feel bad when they take stuff away that's good, but it, I like the ultimate goal. Plus, isn't this from this is a symbol from that one show? I forgot what it's called. The it's a cartoon, like a Western cartoon. I've seen this around.
Different faction is so different with the things that they believe in, and some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass electronics on them. You've got alien.
Like call them transhuman. I guess that's like cyborgs, right? That's the meaning of it. Transhuman, like the cyborgs, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. This looks badass, man. Bro, this is such a terrible universe to like live in, but it's a good one for us to like view. For us to look in from the outside, from the safety of our homes.
And you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is.
Ooh, Valhalla. This is a cool map. Oh, Halo stars. The Meridian, Elysia. I think I remember this from the last video. Necromunda, Krieg. Oh, Krieg? Krieg? It would be Krieg, right? Varun. By the way, I'm probably butchering a lot of these, but I know some because it's like everywhere, like Ophelia, obviously Valhalla. Hmm. There's no more that I can like that kind of jumps out at me.
Is about and what
Hmm.
the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this
Does that say Chiros? Chiros.
extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40k universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well in case you were curious about that. But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man because that takes up.
This is the one I'm most interested in. I'll be honest. I said it in the last video. This is probably the race that I'm most interested in.
Up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore.
Oh, boo-hoo!
What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st millennium. That's where it takes place, is in the year 40,000, 41,000 AD. You're already more knowledgeable.
Yep.
Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of.
By the way, I've as a kid, up to now, it still feels weird, but it kind of makes sense. As a kid, I used to think, why? Why are we counting the like the one that we're living in, not like because we don't count the years as in like the one that we're living in on top of it. So it wouldn't be like now is it 2026? It's 2025 because wait, that is the year we're living in. No, okay, I just destroyed my whole thing. But I'm like, in the aspect of like the 21st century, we're only in like 2025. You get my meaning? Like in a year, it kind of makes sense because it's just a year, and it's you probably should count it. But like in my head, it just never made sense. Like 21st century, oh, like we're counting the one that we're still going through. I don't know, man. We'll just
of mankind by the will of the gods,
it
and
probably
master of
says
a
the
million
dumbest thing
worlds by
then.
the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst
Whoa.
untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable.
That is
These are
true.
the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods.
Jesus. This feels like a eulogy to the whole universe. Like, this is what you say because you realize eventually the universe is going to die very quickly. Man, in a grimdark future. Where is that? Where is that from? It feels familiar from something in a bleak midwinter. In a bleak midwinter. That's what is that Game of Thrones? I think it's Game of Thrones, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels right. It feels like it's Game of Thrones.
Everything blows. And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer's probably
Count me in, brother. Oh, that that type of blow. Okay, never mind.
the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction, or at least like top 3. Everything is so
True.
absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages across the galaxy.
I laugh because I just know of Dota. I don't get the reference. I don't know what that means. What does you mean by that? But it's kind of like a Warframe in a sense where like you're playing Warframe, you're zipping around, doing all this cool stuff. You're a Tenno, you have superpowers, everything. And then if you sit down to think about it, that's probably a terrible universe to live in. Like as a regular person, and that's what like I put myself in. I don't put myself in like what would it be in a important like faction or important race because that's just dumb. Because like well okay then there's no point in trying to realize how terrible this world is then. So like if I put myself in a like just a normal place like Cetus, let's just say. I mean, spoilers alert. Recently, the the sentients have attacked, slaughtered, and like enslaved a bunch of people. For normal people, Warframe is a terrible universe. It is so bad. You got so many factions that will probably want to kill you as a just a regular guy or enslave you. And who knows, man? I know there's like no friendly fire in the game, so like you don't kill civilians, but like there's probably some collateral damage when a tenor walks in. When a tenor uses when Saren, the Warframe like casts like spores and viruses around, and you're just happening to be there, bro. You're exploding. You're just dying. So yeah, these it's kind of different because it doesn't feel like that while you're playing. I bet it feels like that whenever you like touching upon the Warhammer universe. It always feels like it's terrible. Like, but like maybe during the tabletop game, it's like always about the power fantasy. You're this faction. You're not like really thinking about it, but when you read in the books, comics, stuff like that, it might seem like a terrible place. I would say League though. On the other hand, I wouldn't mind being a, I don't know, like a a baker somewhere in, who knows, the uh I can't think of a place now. Who knows? Somewhere in Valorant. Obviously not the North. I don't want to get I don't want to get bashed in the head by a troll.
Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to
That
be
is
your god.
insane.
Demonic gods and just demons.
That is insane. Like, they just fighting. Do they know? Do the people know, like, in the universe, that they're accidentally feeding this place, or like, is it just one of those where, like, you'll never know, they will never know that this is what happens, unless maybe they explain it in, like, I don't know, Space Marines into the warp, something like that.
Demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy. It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable.
Bro, you know what this reminds me of? In League, there's this character, Mordekaiser. Basically, he was I'll do a very simple explanation because this video is gonna be long. I'm 5 minutes in. Basically, he was Sanuzal, a normal human, a barbarian. He fought for glory, fought for honor. He believed, the Viking death. You die in the battlefield, you kill as many people, the gods will welcome you into the Hall of Bones, and so like he just conquered so many places, killed so many people, and when he finally died, brother was so disappointed. He was just a floating spirit in this afterlife and seeing other spirits float around. There was no hollow bones, there was no gods, nothing like that. So he basically thought, screw it, let me see if I can entice people. So he enticed people with like whispers, using the language of the dead to whisper into the world, to get magicians to like to spawn him back, basically to resurrect him, in the hopes that they'll get more power. Came back, slaughtered everyone, obviously. And then what he did was he went on another crusade. He killed more people. He killed them left, right, and center. And then he got betrayed. He got betrayed by his closest people. And brother was smiling because that was all part of the plan. He was killing all those people in the second round because he had purpose for them. He wanted more souls in the afterlife so he can build his Hall of Bones. This is such a good law of having like people die in universe, and it feeds some weird energy in like the afterlife.
And are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks, but that's like the charm of it. See, everything in Warhammer is evil, but being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity in its own right is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies.
Rightly so, man. Rightly so. By the way, what's with the tunic thing? But yeah, I mean, in this universe, you have to be xenophobic. You have to be, because, like, brother, like, you can't even trust your own race. They've been away from you. They built like I said before in the previous video. They're living in a different world. They're pretty much aliens to you. They eat different food from you, unless like in this place, like everything is like generated or some crap like that, which I don't mind. But like, it's the whole thing of like, humans today on one planet, bro. We're already fighting. If we're in separate planets, you can't imagine how much racism there would be. I guess there wouldn't be like internal planetary racism. It would be like external, like those humans. Actually, never mind. They're Martians now. They are Martians. They live on Mars. Filthy Martians.
But and they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good. No matter who you are.
Yeah, that's what I thought about this. Like the humans, it feels justified in this universe. It feels justified. The type of evil they are. It just makes sense.
Everyone is some flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool.
Yeah.
They look cool. They got cool outfits. They got cool weapons. They got cool armies.
True.
Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
The God Emperor.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag.
Dude, this picture, man. I need to know. Like, okay, I'll do a little googling now. From update, and I'll just show you guys because some of you probably don't know League. But it kinda looks like it, I guess. Let me see if I can switch this for you guys. Like this is what I see whenever he shows that picture, right? Uh, kinda. Let me know, man. Let me know. I don't know. Obviously, this is like pixelated and stuff, but let me see if I can find it like a better. There, it's a bit better. But basically, like it's kind of this bridge, but also not. But yeah, that's what it reminds me of whenever I see this bridge. The Piltover wins on. I guess it's just like there's a city up above and a city down below.
Flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the Emperor of mankind, a 10-foot tall psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds, create superhuman soldiers, and really bring humanity into a new age. This man, the Emperor of Mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40k, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell.
I like how like the video I watched is like a year old, and then I'm watching all of these. I forgot who commented, but thank you. Sorry, I forgot your name. But yeah, I like getting reminded what these things are because it will solidify in my brain. By the end of this, I'll probably know a fair chunk about Warhammer 40k, and I hope to retain it. Who knows, man? I might start reading the books.
And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff, spells, and lots of other things, but we don't want to get too into that. The Emperor, big boy psyker, top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now, the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity.
Okay, I asked before why only 18 and what are the other two, and apparently it's kind of like a self-insert type deal where like people can make their own like faction. Basically, they can just create their own character to be the son, and then have the faction in that. So it's a really cool like aspect of it. I don't know. Maybe just one would be enough. I'd love like eventually the long lost son turns out the god emperor had like a big plan for all of this, and then he had one son that just no one ever knew who he was. Just out there in the universe building stuff, building an army. Like like a great invasion happens, and then he calls upon his son or something. I don't know. I'm not a writer. Now that I'm thinking about it, like that sounds like a huge cop out.
to the different stars and plans to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you're wondering what Chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier, the warp, that Imperium, the hellish place?
Yep.
In there relies the 4 Chaos gods. Imagine like Satan and 3 other
Freaking Nurgle, man. I was watching a video, and then Nurgle came up, and I was like, bro, I I know now. I get that reference. It was basically a video. Well, I was watching a reaction to a video that I've already seen in the past, obviously before learning about Warhammer 40k. So when Nurgle the Nurgle reference came up, and I was like, oh, wait a second, I know this. It's whatchamacallit, that video about Nux, the most hated VTuber. Is the Nurgle reference was in that. I was like, bro, I see it now. It's Nurgle. I get the
Satans. The warp being kind of evil, those Chaos Gods, that's the reason. And so those Chaos Gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup.
Is this Khan? This Khan. The other one's not right. The other one's like an all.
Help manipulate all 8.
That is Jesus.
Those Chaos Gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped.
I love this stuff, man. He's huge. What the hell? Bro, look at this axe. It does not look practical. None of this looks practical, but hey, it looks badass. The trophies, bro. This is... Yeah, this is a... Oh my god, the skull with the crown on top. This is a world I would not love to live in.
Help manipulate all 8 other Primarchs.
This guy looks like an orc. Looks like a... What faction is this? Oh, this is the wolves. Right. Space wolves? Is that correct? What does that sound? Kind of... Well, it sounds like an early an early faction, let's just say. The naming convention was probably pretty simple.
To lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth, and they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor, and right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the North Star. If you want to do interstellar travel in 40k, you need to pass.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I didn't make the connection earlier, but like in the previous video, but like I explained how like spice works in the universe of Dune. Basically, you need spice to be able to like plot a route to travel through space. Otherwise, you're just crashing into planets. And and the whole thing of like why Paul Atreides was like special, the Lisan Al Gaib is the one mind that can traverse the whole universe through his mind. So like he'll be used to make travel faster and better. Mostly because spice, if you take a lot of it, the navigators, there's navigators that take it to be able to like guide these ships. They are horrifying. It turns them into like mush, pretty much. But yeah, Paul Atreides is meant to be the one guy to help everyone travel throughout the universe safely. And that's kind of like this. I didn't make the connection at the time, but it's kind of like this. Like the the main character becomes like the North Star to help all people like travel. That's so cool, man. I think that's cool.
Pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going.
Bro's a glorified bro's a glorified lighthouse.
If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp, and then you need to know where you're going, go through there, and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas.
Yep.
So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy 10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially.
So cool, man.
All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now
He kind of is, though. Brother is immortal, the best psyker. The guy is huge. The guy created like 18, well, technically 20, but like 18 in universe or established sons that are also super powerful. Bro, in a world like this, I could see it him being a god. In our world, imagine that. That's even crazier. Bro.
now you have this thing called the ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely.
It's like what's John Carter. That's the thing that I was trying to think of. John Carter. John Carter was the reference. Was the technically the true godfather of sci-fi's, where a lot of like Dune got their inspiration from. Even though people are like, yo, Dune is like the godfather of sci-fi, but like a lot of inspiration comes from the John Carter books. But yeah, if you see the movie, like it was basically like him in a low gravity area. He's stronger. He can leap. It's a bit like that. If he came, if the God Emperor came into our world, it's like John Carter being able to leap above buildings, be super strong, times a billion. It's kind of like that.
Devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor God, the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this
Whoa, this is crazy. It still looks terrible to live in. I'm looking at like under here. This I'm never reaching that. I'm one of the peasants that is like scavenging around for parts or something here.
futuristic Gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. heretics die in 40k. There is no such thing as
What is
freedom
that
of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech, so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of
I can think of one country that you know
tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but no matter what, you're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well.
Damn.
So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Pretty shit now, man.
You finished?
That's it, man. Game over, man.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun, the main weapon of the Imperial Guard.
They're like badass stormtroopers. Sorry if I'm making if you feel bad, whichever side you are on, either Warhammer or Star Wars, about that comparison, but they kind of are stormtroopers, but they're probably like super badass.
It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate. It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40k universe. Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it can blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women, 30,000 large armored tanks, 10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic, with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops.
I'd probably want to be one of these grunts. Well, I'd hope to be if I was in this universe. Because I don't know, man. I have a feeling like food is scarce. I would want to join this. I'd want to join this just to have everything.
A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles.
It's legit like ants. Like, bro, have you seen ants like attack like bigger creatures? It's kind of like that, man.
As tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin Jungle Fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into. So they just have this steroid-looking, giant knife, Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple knight on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian Iron Guard who are more interested in making their
what in the Napoleon Bonaparte is this?
Shoes shine than actually fighting a battle. And then of course the big one, the Cadians from Cadia. the
Wait,
biggest export
what happened there? What happened to Cadia? It got destroyed, obviously, but what was it a battle that they just lost?
of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first Swarm Lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote,
Wait, what?
I have at my command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard, 50 regiments including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent the main Imperial Guard tactics pretty well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships. Overall, they're pretty similar to how they sound, though a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately, and they don't...
Bro, what do you mean a little expensive? The whole, the whole game is expensive.
Hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just...
Bad aim. Okay, the comparison kind of checks out then.
Just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire...
It's true, man. It's true. Like, bro, who cares if you have like 100,000 bad soldiers that like bad shots, man? When you could just blanket the whole sky in laser fire, you don't need to aim. You don't need to aim. You just point in a direction and shoot.
Fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines. The Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers and super...
Yeah, this is the one thing I know roughly before even learning about this. Like, before even watching these videos, I kind of know that there's so much that goes into making a Space Marine. There's a reason why most are men. I think all are men is because of like how much physical torture it is and mental torture to be able to like make a Space Marine. And that's why there's a whole thing about like Custodes and like female Custodes have always been the whole okay. Which I get the like backlash from fans. They've grown up with this law of like it takes a lot and there's a reason why it's men. It's only male Custodes because the toll it takes on the body and the mind. Oh man, I'm glad that I'm a small creator, quote unquote creator, because I swear that stuff gets clipped on Twitter, and I'm getting outed as like a sexist.
Humans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger, they're taller than the average person.
Yeah,
they're pretty
huge.
Massive people. And these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines, Jagatai Khan has the White Scars, Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists, Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard, and there's a whole bunch of other side sections that are also extremely interesting.
Salamanders. Was that? It's probably sort or word bearers. Oh, word bearers. Alpha Legion, Death Guard. That's cool. Ultramarines. World Eaters, damn, that's badass. Iron Hands, the Blood Angels, these names, man. Imperial Fist, that's awesome. Space Wolves, White Scars, that's a cool name as well. Iron Warriors, Emperor's Children, that's cool. That's cool. The purple, the royal purple is fitting, but it's like, I don't know, it's too shiny. But like these are cool, man. These are so cool. I like these like blood splatter, kind of like muted colors more than like the shinier like blue. The yellow actually is not bad because it's like got weathering and stuff. Oh, this is so cool, man.
Interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously,
Oh, they have different home worlds as well. I just noticed. Medusa, Bottom, Bot. I don't Nocturne. Great jungler in League. Love Nocturne. Caliban. Olympia. Damn. These are cool worlds, man. These are
extremely interesting
cool
and
worlds.
have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about
Wait.
a twist on the
Sorry.
average Space Marines, which we will discuss
Terra. This one's from Terra. From Earth. Okay.
in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin.
That's crazy. The one thing that comes to mind is if you, most of you guys that subscribe to me or watch me are Americans, so like you probably won't know this reference, but John Alomu was a rugby player. They tried so hard to scout him for NFL, but like he was a huge Donny. He was huge, man. This guy was super tall, super buff, and he could run. Trust me, if you want to see like a real life big ass dude that can run really fast, that's pretty much he'd be like a candidate to to be a space marine. Look up some like John Alomu running. Bro, this guy could run.
Is tougher. They are overall just extremely
Rest in
powerful
peace.
soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman,
Ooh, the Ultramarines are the ones in the Space Marine games, right? Okay. Okay, that's cool. Getting a name to like the face, that's the one that I've seen around the most really because of like obviously it breaks out into other media.
are the main blue boys. Strong in almost every way, the jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem, but the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes, we're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick, you want to hit them hard, you want them to be swarming around like buzzflies. Buzzsaws. With the speed of buzzsaws.
Bro's correcting
Fuck
his.
you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier than...
I get where the pyro from TF2 comes from. TF2 is probably like his calm down world. he goes there to relax.
thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the salamanders tend to put human
huge.
lives
Huge,
above
man.
the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle black. Like they have a charcoal, dark,
Jesus.
ashy exterior and blazing red eyes. Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall,
Yeah.
Salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is.
Oh,
Oh my
really?
god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine Legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles.
Okay. The Raven Guard. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
While being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space Wolves, Vikings, and wolves, and tons of wolves, and axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space Wolves, angry, big teeth, Blood Angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy, called the Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark Angels.
Wait, what?
Stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for saying.
Really? That's cool though. What is this, leopard or snow leopard?
Sanguinius. Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle theme and.
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, fancy pantsy
I don't get the
anti-Xenos group
reference.
that
Let
nobody
me know what that reference is.
plays because Death Watch, and they look cool though, but no one
That's
plays them.
cool.
I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though.
Dude, Death Watch. That's another one. Raven Guard, Death Watch. Okay.
Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock, and I'm sure
Yo.
there's some other chapters.
That's some cool. That's cool fantasy. Okay. The Templars. Black Death Watch. And the Raven Guard. Bro, I'm bad with names. But those three, they seem interesting to me.
I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff, but those are the main ones right here. Here, quote, from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And
Dude. Bro doesn't like the moniker of like God Emperor, but like it's the way he speaks, it sounds like he just let there be light. Brother just went, I want these now. Just spawns in Marines.
And on the tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard. As of making this video, Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines.
Gold-plated? I mean, is that strong compared to just steel? No, man. We'll move past that analogy.
Are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee,
yeah.
all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people
What
are
does that
afraid
mean?
of technology?
Technology! The
Adeptus
Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus
Yo, they
are
look like the followers of Zareth in League. They have like this blue. Well, it's just blue, just blue energy with like their faces covered, pretty much. Yeah, that's all.
technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa, Berkey, that sounds like some heresy. A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they
Okay.
don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's why, yeah, it's an understandable, like, hypocrisy. Like, what are you gonna do, really, right? Just get rid of them? How? They build all these stuff, they have all the weapons, and, like, you're not gonna spread around the universe, like, as far if you denounce them or anything and go to war with them. Damn, don't you love this type of hypocrisy? This is just classic, real to life. This is real world stuff, man.
And they make everything that you have, so you can't really tell them to fuck off because you're not.
True. It's a bit like streamers on Twitch who are like who follow the, sorry to make this political, but who don't want to associate themselves with certain companies because those companies are Zionists, and they still stream on Twitch. Like I don't know, man. Wait, no. It's the I'm saying it in the same people who like kind of hate big corporations as well. They hate like billionaires, but they still stream on Twitch. They still post on. They hate the far right. They hate like anyone who is right of them, and they still post on Twitter. And then they go over and cry on Threads, even though Facebook is a well, they're not any better than Twitter. Yeah, it's just this type of hypocrisy is just real world stuff, man. Like, yeah, I'll denounce them, but they kind of help me live. So I'm gonna focus on other companies that I have no affiliation with.
Not gonna win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their
True.
Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your
really?
gun to work, your tank to run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop. You should need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They
That is
are
insane.
very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And if you look
It's true.
at
It's
them,
true.
I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Magos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah.
Very
This is the group we're
skeevy.
talking about. These are these weirdos. Here, the Omnissian Creed. The Credo, Omnissiah.
Yo, that's cool, man. I just noticed it's not network module, SSID, memory, storage, processing unit. Is this like fan art or is this like actual like? Is everything all the artwork like from in universe? Because this is cool.
The Credo, Omnissiah. There is no truth in Credo,
Wait,
Credo.
no, I have to believe this is like a. This is probably like a wallpaper engine type deal because I see VLC player and Steam. Photoshop. Yeah, this is not in universe. Never mind. Never mind.
Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death. Flesh is weakness, flesh is death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how you will become enlightened. Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism. Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective, both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans, but if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle. Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
Okay, this was mentioned. I don't know. I don't remember when. Was it the last stream? By the way, check out my streams whenever I go live. You can join the Discord to get live notifications when I get live. But yeah, someone mentioned the Sisters of Battle. They sound badass. Man, this is gonna be cool. I just have a feeling from the very little explanation that I got from it.
Has fallen for an eagle in Lego City.
Okay, the Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary. And it is. The sisters are an extremely zealous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics. Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons.
Leona from League of Legends will fit right in here. The
bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Literally. They are the closest things we have to
like, how do you destroy like a faction that is like they're all about faith, they're all about martyrdom? Like, how do you destroy a faction that would be glad to die in battle? That is just peak fantasy, man. This is crazy stuff.
Nuns in space, and I'm talking hardcore nuns. They carry holy fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies that they have removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them ammunition and shit.
That's kind of I kind of like it. I do like it, but it's freaky as hell. But I do like it because it's obviously like a play on like the little angels and stuff. Oh, that's so cool how they incorporate like religious aspects of like real world stuff into it. Like like we think of like little baby angels with wings in like the real world, but like in this world they built them to be able to like get them ammo, get them supplies and stuff. That's so cool, man.
They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop churches into battles and they blare.
You can't fight on like heretical ground, can you? Like you need to purify the land, obviously, and to do that is to drop a church.
War hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield. These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. They can literally stave off demons on the tabletop.
Jesus.
Because their faith is that strong. Remember the warp, the demons from the warp? Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are...
Nah, that's so cool. They have like the power of the mind and like as a big thing in the universe. That is so cool. What? That is insane. This is so badass.
That mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons. And all these girls, oh, not a crack. Not a crack in that mental armor. Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore, I gotta say, I love their design. I think they're extremely cool. They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line.
That is crazy with the rockets.
Of figures very recently, and they look wonderful. Everything from Celestine, the living, literally undying saint, from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model, those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer universe, and goddamn it is it over the top. But Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, oh, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell.
I do like the whole like, I like the fantasy of like paladins, man. I do when it comes to like fantasy worlds. Paladins are super cool to me. I don't always pick them at times when they are available, but like I do enjoy the fantasy of it.
Flamer Burst and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time. And speaking of burning demons,
I can see!
I can fight! The Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights, except they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space magic magician shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's 1 Grey Knight. Grey Knight.
Yo, that's so cool. I don't know why. It's just like I guess it's just exclusivity and like rareness. It's always like scratches an itch in like a human brain.
Are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers. These Grey Knights need to be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever the possibility. And so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is that pure of heart and
Bro, that is some cool fantasy. It's like he's holding the one ring and the ring is like trying to call to him. Use me, use me. And bro's just like, silence.
and mind and all the
He probably just doesn't even say silence, bro. Just it's white noise to him now. And he falls asleep to it.
characters in the Grey Knights are basically
That's so
like
cool.
that. The only issue is that Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy, more ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guard,
oh, right. I see where this is going. Well, burn the whole place down. Easy.
and I'm fighting demons, and the Grey Knights
Really, dude? Really? Why? Why?
arrive, and they kill all the demons, I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun, though, if you like that kind of fast-striking kind of army. Oh, and also, Caldor Drago is a thing. We're not even going to get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious. I am the hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time. Grey Knights.
I'm loving these quotes, man. These quotes are so good. Bro, this has, it's slowly climbing up to being my favorite. Well, it's one of my favorites now. Universes that I know. But I don't know, man. We've got a few more videos, and there's a chance it might be the top. I do still enjoy League Lore. That's still very high. I think I like the fantasy aspect of, like, the medieval fantasy aspect of it. I would say. Oh, what else would there be? Warframe. Yeah, I enjoy Warframe. I'm trying to think of, like, other things of, like, other games lore wise that I already know. I can't think of any. There probably is some, but I just can't think of any currently. Star Wars, that's one. It's probably, like, lower than the other two, but I do enjoy Star Wars. Lord of the Rings, I do know very little. I'll be honest, I know very little about Lord of the Rings. There's probably a few others that I'm forgetting.
Are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you want to, you know that they're holy enough, you want to be holier, Grey Knights. Now, if you want to be holier and big, Let's talk Imperial Knights.
Imperial Knights. Oh, these are the ones.
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes or medium-sized
These are the
buildings?
main dudes.
Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn? Do you want a gigantic old-school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school like house feel to them, like literally like they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path, killing full swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess
What's
around.
this from?
And they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos.
Is that like an animation? Or like, what's that from? That looks so badass.
Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house or chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project too. Getting more back down to earth, let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold. If guardsmen are regular soldiers, space marines are super soldiers, Grey Knights are super soldiers, the Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus Custodes...
These are Henry Cavill's like favorite, right? He just raves about Custodes.
These are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay? But that's all. I only have 3, okay?
Only have 3, bro.
They are our final brand of
Only
Space Marines,
said.
but
He
these
said.
ones are super special, okay? If a Guardsman is 6 foot, a Space Marine is 7 feet, a Custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra.
Yeah,
Earth is
Terra, yeah. Makes sense.
themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room, hence Custodes. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times.
I don't know what
and
that
are
means.
literally
To be honest, the Custodes is the first time I've heard it. Custodes is in reference to Warhammer, so I don't know exactly what that means.
like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers. I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to.
I love how they're not getting close. Well, they are close, but they're not reaching the emperor status at all.
Sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and every other area of Holy Terra for their entire purpose in life.
Bro, this is like whatchamacallit, the guards in Buckingham Palace. It's a great honor for like, I heard about it. It's like, it's the ultimate. If you think they're just normal soldiers, the soldiers in Buckingham Palace are like top tier. These guys are like battle hardened. I'm pretty sure they do train to become them, but they do like most of them are like have gone through tours, and they go in and guard the palace in Buckingham. So yeah, these are reminding me, especially the hats, man. The hats are reminding me of them.
And oh my lord, are they terrifying. These custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch,
Probably why-
or there's also...
It's probably why Henry Cavill likes them, man. I can see why. Pure power fantasy. I mean, they're the best of the best. With excluding the Emperor.
My personal favorite, the Aquilian Shield. The Aquilian Shield go out
Yo, they
to
look cool,
seemingly
though.
unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5-foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something of that nature. The custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered but never outmatched. These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point.
Oh, I do remember that they are very limited. That's one of the pieces of. I'm only getting this knowledge like before these videos were from like the whole Henry Cavill thing of like the whole drama behind the custodies and female custodies. That's all my knowledge is basically just mostly about custodies.
There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the custodians have all three of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready, always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within, little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years, I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years, I stood my watch, and as it ends, I can tell you this: patience is a weapon. The custodians are the top dogs of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here.
Right.
The Sisters of Silence I also have a few of, and they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies are a whole group of pariahs, are also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on. So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age, because they just emit a horrifying aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena. These
I'm assuming these are like probably immune to that stuff, right?
sisters are extremely specialized in it. All of them taking a vow of silence as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of time with the custodians because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on the tabletop. In fact, they only have like one real model for them, which is very unfortunate. I hope they'll get something new soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore, but hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
My precious power ring, gone forever.
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done. The assassins, though, the Officio Assassinorum, oh boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people.
They look like modern day. They look like modern day, like Call of Duty, Black Ops, This is Ghost.
Mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the, what was it called? Schola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something, you get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempestus Drop Troop, an Inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of
Oh, what the hell, man? What the hell? Okay, damn. This school doesn't sound too good then.
4 temples, because the Assassinorum works in the temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks. Poof! The Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away after extremely long time periods. The Vindicare temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out.
It's kind of like a real life snipers, man. I well, my brother's in the army. Well, was in the army. At the time I kept visiting him, he would pick up his friend who like to take back to like camp and everything after like their break. And the guy was a sniper, and bro, the stuff that snipers do is insane. They're able to sit there for like ages, hours, possible days, and yeah, a funny story is like apparently they kind of like to relieve themselves, they kind of just dig a hole under themselves, or to like for like a number one a piss. Sometimes they just shit themselves, and they stay there. They stay there for ages. They have to be comfortable with it. I think somewhere diapers. I'm not sure. None of them would admit, but yeah, it takes a lot, man. It takes a lot for them to just sit there and watch and wait for their target. Stuff's crazy.
Out particular body parts from over 2-3 miles away, temples in the head, the jugular, for instance, and been sitting there after weeks. And when they're ready, take that shot, time is done, packs them up. The Calidus temple, however, is a lot more about shape-shifting and deviant. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems. These assassins will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group.
Mother.
And slowly work their way up.
Kill
just
me
to
next.
get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed. Or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These are all completely about deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between. And lots of drawings. Lots of drawings. The Eversor Temple. Just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. An Eversor is psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo-freeze you. And then they drop you in an area where they just want to make.
Nah, that is insane. I was wondering, like, how do you deploy things like this? Like, what do you. But yeah, that is crazy. You just freeze them and then drop them in, and then they just kill anything that moves. That is crazy. Bro.
Make sure everything is dead. And then you defrost, full of just all this insane, mind-boggling psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs, and you just go to town. Yeah, if you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus Temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus Temple with this as well. And this
Okay.
is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They are described by the Eldar by quote as being pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned, and then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100. If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no, the sheer presence of a Custodes assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person.
Yo, that is... Bro, I thought Psychers were cool, but there's the whole weakness to Psychers. Oh my god. Damn. I guess you just have to hope and pray that the other side just doesn't feel like it's a lost cause and drop one of these guys.
Custodes assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is that which is
that's just aura, man. This is just pure aura.
choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is that which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear. Now, for the tabletop, assassins aren't that special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are, and they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Custodes. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of psychers, Custodes. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades if you have a specific thing you want to kill. And you get to choose which is really fun. But
bro, I love how, like, I'm just thinking about how how this works, this game works. It's RTS. And I'm trying to think, like, what maybe one day I'll find a video explaining how to actually play this game.
now, let's talk about the last human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2, the Inquisition. And we have a lot to talk about with them.
Well, on the subject of heresy!
Oh boy. Where do I even begin with the Inquisition? Take every secret police you can think of. The KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people. And then
that's a good one.
Mark it up by about 10 and give them the most power in the entire Imperium. No, you know what? How about this? This right here, it's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto, the motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat. Innocence proves nothing.
What the?
The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police, their #1 motto is innocence proves nothing. The Inquisition goes around like the secret police or like detectives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own
Inquisitors? Star Wars?
free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot. They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like Gene's.
You know what it is? These are the army police, man. Army police are terrible people. Ask any infantry member, anyone in the army. Dude, army police are the worst.
Stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives with just enormous power and sometimes a bit of a power complex. And we haven't even talked about Exterminatus yet. Exterminatus is deeming a planet unfit to be saved.
No,
I deem
really?
that this planet is demon infested and taking it back
Just
will cost
everything.
too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed Exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment. This can mean cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life.
That is insane.
The innocence proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety. Yeah, you're playing the villain. Now it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are...
Guys, are we the baddies? Classic.
Very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Now, naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one.
What's this? First Command Inquisition, Adeptus, also known as Tyrannic Wars.
But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have. And it's a crazy option when
Just
you
a couple of times.
Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately, and it's a crazy option.
What does that mean? Celestine? Oh, she is? Or... Wait, huh?
When you think about it. Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them, and they're not quite where I want them to be. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of Space Marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grimdarkness. And wow, we just finished the humans, all right? Come back for part 2 when we talk about Chaos and Xenos, because we got to talk about the 4 Chaos Gods and all the Chaos Marine Legions and the Tau and the
Chaos
Necrons and the
Marines?
Orcs and oh boy.
Wait, Tau? That's a thing from Warframe, which we're hoping to get at some point, possibly the next expansion. Please bring us to Tau. I'll actually come back to Warframe again.
Boy, we got a lot. I'll see you in part 2.
Sweet. Holy heck. The Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence, they're cool. The Raven Guard, the Templars, and there's another one that I'm missing. Those are the interesting ones to me. Custodes, I feel like they're too strong, and I think, yeah, I don't want to be the you know, let me pick the big strong guys. The Inquisitors are really fun. Ooh. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to watch part 2 first to see which race I should go with. It's most likely humans. This seems more interesting to me. But who knows, man? I could be tempted to orcs. Playing Horde, I think I played Orc, and then Night Elf as well. But elves in this, I don't know. I don't think I'll pick them. I do like Psykers. But we'll see, man. Next part. Thank you very much for making it this far. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord, follow me on Twitch, both linked down below. Special thanks to all my channel members. See ya.